Well, welcome to my early edition show. People are just salivating out there right now because now the biggest battle going on YouTube in our community is expat trash Philippines versus the ladyboy lover. And boy, the battle is going on, and people are sending out reports on our friend Licky. Major. Is this going to be another Barry Jordan situation going on here? That's the question. Soon to find out here, actually. Expat travel. I keep on calling. I can never get that right. It's expat trash Philippines or whatever. They're not giving up. Whoever they may be, I have an idea of who it is, but don't really matter. I think they're doing a pretty outstanding job exposing this guy, and I think this is the latest thing going on here. Barry Jordan era, and now it's the Licky Ricky drama that's going on right now. The question is, who's going to win this battle? Battle of attrition? What is it really? I don't think ETP is going to be given up anytime soon, and Ricky Ricky drama, sick grandpa, sick indeed, is apparently very frustrated over the PR, the public relations going on now regarding the clips that have been shared by ETP about him. And I must say they're pretty good. And I think Licky's blood pressure is rising right now, and he's really frustrated because I think he knows the attention is now on him. So, how does it feel, Licky, to get the attention put on you? Well, you wanted this attention, didn't you? You got it. You got it. And boy, there are people that are sending reports in, they're sending these videos in to the various agencies. And, it's another situation like Barry, the cockiness that's going on. And Licky he's doing the same thing that Barry did. And I think he's heading in the same direction as Barry is because when you get when Bureau of Immigration and other agencies, they get an abundance of people reporting somebody like this with good material that really gets their attention. It doesn't usually have good results. Now, yeah, it is difficult that to get the attention of these agencies, but you know no, he's not winning. You gave him a strike or you put a report in. That's a big difference between giving him a strike, okay? Ricky's going to follow the same. Here's my theory on this, and you can buy it or not, but I think Ricky's going down the same path as Barry Jordan did. And see, that they're alike in many ways. I mean, they're both cocky. And when you get too cocky on YouTube, this is exactly what happens. And he's experiencing it right now. If you don't think that Licky is worried, then you know, tell me different. He is, but like Barry, he's not going to show it. Okay, and look where Barry is now. The smirking and everything, and look where he is now. And Ricky does all that shit too, with his really insane facial expressions and everything else on there, and he thinks he's ahead of the game, but he doesn't realize the pressure that's on. That's everything that's happening right now. He's got the attention that he wants. He's not getting the, which is equally frustrating for him. He's not getting the donations. Like he tried to, the fraud he's committing because his shows have been, it's been reported to the BIR for non-payment of taxes here in this country, for the donations he made for an illegal campaign to raise money. These are just some of the counts going to be on this guy. Okay, that everything he said and the way he's treating. Well, I mean, I think ETP did a great job on their editing. I must say that, really must say that, showing the key points to this guy. I mean, just getting to the point of just putting out not just somebody's whole video, but to show the best excerpts of what this guy is really all about. I don't think it looks good for him. I really don't. Well, he's certainly going to get to that point. He's going to be blacklisted. I mean, if anybody deserves it, this guy does. He's fucked everybody over. He's fucked me over. He's fucked everybody over. He can fuck Barry over. They were supposedly trying to help, but it was all a scam campaign to make money in his pocket. But now, even, you know, the people that donated to him in the past, for whatever reason they wanted to donate it to him for Barry. We think we know some of the reasons why people actually donated. It wasn't exactly because they really wanted to help Barry out. They wanted to appease Licky and they wanted to throw mud pies in my face. We all know why people were donating. But everything's going south with Licky right now. And, you know, his reputation is stained, just like with Yellow Man, who exposed his small mushroom. Ricky exposed himself in a similar way when he had made out with a man in a bar. Now, how do you wipe that off the memories of the people on here? You just don't. You just don't really do that. It's not something that's just going to fade away. You surprised? No, don't be surprised. You're surprised that Barry's family hasn't helped him out yet. Barry don't have a good relationship with his family. You don't understand that, Carlos. He doesn't have a good relationship with his family. They don't want to help him out. They didn't want to see him come back to Alabama. And, then there's a situation with child support. That's not going away. Child support, by the way, there's no expiration date when you owe child support. If he manages to get back into the country, some miracle, and I don't know of any at this point, but if you know something, let me know. I just know what I know. But, he's going to be apprehended for this because it's turned into a felony. After a number of years, after a certain amount of money, it becomes felonious. And, it's a non-win situation for Barry. Barry can't get out of this. I mean, unless they're paying off officials or something, I can't see how Barry's going to get away with this shit. Okay, that guy's going to be approaching 4 months before you know it already in lockup. So, Licky wants to put himself in that same position. You can't always win on here, man. You fight your battles. I fought my battles, and I've won all of them really. If you want to talk about winning or losing, I mean, I haven't lost a battle on here to date, to tell you the truth, in over 7 years, because I'm not guilty of certain crimes that people have alleged that I have committed. There's a difference. I mean, let me tell you something. It's like this. Quoting Barry. If you're really guilty of a crime, you're going to get off YouTube. You're going to run and hide and never be heard again. Now, if I was guilty of something, I wouldn't even be on YouTube. The times I say I'm getting off, I just would have stayed off permanently. Okay, it's the guilty that run away. That's how it works. If I was guilty of something, I wouldn't be broadcasting right now. Now, Licky's situation, it's not a good situation for him or anybody associated with him. When the heat is on, they back off, believe me, when they know the heat is on. Now, all Licky is trying to do is save face right now. Now he's in a bad position where he knows he's fucked. He knows that reports are coming in from everywhere to all the proper agencies. And guess what? That will get their attention eventually, okay? It will get their attention. And the very fact, and alcohol was absolutely no excuse for that really sickening and very revealing display when he was making out with a ladyboy. That'll never be erased from our minds on here. That's never going to happen. The same as the Yellow Man exposing him to his tiny little mushroom man, the tiny little mushroom, if you can. We can't forget that. How could we forget that? The same as we can't forget the moment when the Yellow Man cried like a little baby when Licky, the very violent predator, the sick bastard, the mentally ill bastard, went to Fazio, our man, Yellow Man Fazio, and slapped him from behind. It goes to show you that Licky is not in control of his own emotions. That's how you get in trouble like he did with Fazio. He was not in control of his emotions. Now, Licky likes to put out a good display on there to get the viewers and all that stuff. But in the process of doing so, he exposed himself. He might as well have been naked on camera because he exposed himself to show the true character that he is, how sick-minded he is, what a loser he is. Yeah, apparently he's the new focus on here now, and the battle between ETP versus Licky drama. And this is getting big time now because ETP is not seemingly going to stand down on this. As a result of a lot of people's efforts, including mine and ETP, doing that fantastic AI stuff and editing and all that. Well, it's been a big help because it's a great way of condensing. What they did was they condensed Sick Licky, his actions, proof that he's an undesirable alien in this country, with some good editing that just got to the point. That editing got to the point. It showed the highlights of this guy. That's what we needed. And this kind of stuff will eventually get to the attention. Enough people write into the Bureau of Immigration, Department of Justice. It can work. It's a chance, okay? It's a chance. Okay. And you may think it's slim to none, but not necessarily. It's according to the merit of what's being reported. I mean, anybody can just turn around and say, well, they could turn into BI some fucking AI edited thing, like the shit that they tried to pull on me, where they did artificial intelligence on my voice and talking about the prime rib, the 14-year-old thing, all that shit. Well, when nobody's on camera saying that'll be thrown out right away if they had to use that against me. And that was indeed my voice, but it was not my words. And that's the beauty of AI. Welcome to 2023. Okay, if you know how to use applications of AI, you could do a pretty damn good job on that. But we can assure you that the statements that were made by Licky that ETP put out was not artificial intelligence. It was the actual wordings of Licky that he actually have used on his shows. There was no manipulation going on there. That was the real thing. Now, I've had the displeasure of meeting Licky, and I still questioned his behavior. Now, he'll have these calm moments where you think that maybe this guy is just putting on a display on his shows. Maybe he's not really as mentally ill as he has shown himself to be. And you have that moment where you're thinking to yourself, maybe this is all really a display, for entertainment and to, get the attention of viewers. But as I figured out, no, not at all. Just the real deal. This guy has serious mental problems. Now, you've all seen all his political rants, that videos have been played by ETP and other people. He's over there screaming and yelling at some candidate. It was Biden and whoever it was. This is not normal human behavior. He's got a lot of anger inside of him. Some things have happened in his life that just didn't work out his way, obviously. So, and he's basically lashing out at the world. Norman says that Mick Fisher is coming back to the Philippines this week to finish his job with Ricky. Yeah, I hate to say it, but Mick Fisher ain't gonna do anything. You want honesty? I could say, and and boost your hopes and everything else like that. It's I hate keeping quoting Barry, but it's like this. Okay, Mick Fisher doesn't want to get in any trouble in the Philippines. Okay, because if he did, when he met up with Ricky, he would have just slapped his ass to the ground. I really don't think that, and I know for a fact that when Mick Fisher came over to confront Licky over at that bar, I know for a fact, I don't want to say who told me it, but Licky went pale. He went totally pale. And he looked like he was going to have a cardiac event, which I imagined that because of his high blood pressure, it just went boom. And Licky would have not have done anything. He would have done. He's in no shape to do anything. You see, gotta understand about him when you got a high blood pressure like that, you cannot afford any triggers. It can be deadly. He couldn't afford to get into a physical confrontation with anybody. Oh, of course, he could take advantage of somebody who's a senior age or older, like he did to Fazio and slap him around from behind as a coward would do. But if he got into a physical confrontation with anybody, he'd have a cardiac event. He's not in good shape. And I'm not just saying this to score points with people that don't like him. I'm telling you that he is not in good shape. He carries around all kinds of shit. He even gave it his stuff for pain, just cream, Voltaren, whatever it was. And he takes a lot of medicines, and one of them is for high blood pressure. And I think he actually might be diabetic. I think he talked about having swollen ankles, which could be an edema related to diabetes. He already told us that after 5 drinks or something like that, his blood pressure spikes like crazy. And he's also obese. So, you know, no doctor here. I just play one on YouTube. But he put the facts together that he's not in good shape. He can't afford to go around slapping around people. He can't afford to get into a fight with anybody because he wouldn't win. Fuck the size. Everybody thinks about, oh yeah, I wouldn't want to fuck with this guy because he's like this really big guy. But everybody is vulnerable one way or another. They go down like anybody else does. But when you're about 60 years old, that Ricky is, you're not the kid you used to be. And maybe there was a time in his life, actually, from going back to the old pictures when he was an insurance salesman, he had that big, fat, chubby face. I guess he's always been overweight. Now, that's not a good thing if he has a history of being overweight, chronic, in other words. That puts him in a worse position now at around 60 years old. Keep that in mind. Let's see, I'm not reading here. Okay, Norman Jackson says he's not that stupid. He's not going to do it while he's on video. Well, you know what? He's cocky enough to try to do that again. To show everybody, look what I did. They fucked with me. They fucked with me. But seriously, Ricky will go down like a bad missile. I honestly feel that. If he got into a confrontation with anybody, even me, and I'm older than him by about 9 years, okay? But I'm not obese. I'm not obese. That's the difference. I could be quicker. And he was actually having what some thought was a cardiac event when Mick Fisher came over. I'm not going to tell me who told me that, but his face became extraordinarily pale and some other symptoms, and he was having probably the beginning of a cardiac event. I think his blood pressure, something was going on with him at that time. Because he was freaking out. He really was when Mick Fisher approached him for that. Because he thought for sure in his mind that Mick Fisher was going to kick his ass. And you notice what Licky does all the time. He did that in Thailand. You remember some of those incidents where he met up with people that stood up to him and you thought that Ricky was going to get his ass licked right there? And Licky just walked away or just apologized. His famous thing to do is to attack people. But then when they approach him, he goes into an apologetic thing. Yeah, that seems to be the MO with him all the time. And that's the way people are on here. But now, this is the biggest event. Barry's history apparently on here now. I think we're going through the Barry era. Now that he's where he belongs in jail. And it's continuing, folks. It's, it's not looking good for our skinny little chain smoker. And he's listening to all this, unless the BI listened to me and took away his phone. I don't know. I made my reports. I can guarantee you that I made my report. You could, bank on that. That I've kept the Bureau of Immigration entertained with and informed with what's been going on with Barry while he's in jail, and how it'll connect Ricky with contraband, bringing contraband there. I'm not even sure, not totally sure that Ricky's even able to come back there, but there might be a problem with the phone. But I think Barry's been paying money off to the guard. I mean, Barry does make money every month, as small as it is. I mean, what is he spending it on? Think about that. He's ordering from Food Panda. He's doing shit like that. And you need a phone to do that. And I think, if anything, if he still has use of the phone, he's just paying the guard a few pesos to allow him to get on the phone. He's not supposed to be using his phone in there. Then he would make comments, come in on there in somebody's show on his own phone, derogatory comments, which we consider to be cybercrime. And he's got 5 counts against him, and he doesn't learn. Some people, you got to understand, don't learn until something actually happens to them. It kind of seems just to be the way it is. And they got to find out on their own. All these people, they come here with their problems from their country, and it's just amazing what they do. I just saw this thing on it was a Facebook feed, and how the Philippines is working against these child predators, real child predators, and how the mothers of these young children, 3 years old, even 5 years old, are exploiting their children for money because they're so impoverished that they would go that far to exploit their own children. And there's a study that it's Australia leads the way a little bit over United States. Uh, they said those were the two countries that were exploiting Philippines children. And I just saw something where they showed the whole process of how they baited these guys. And they did arrest this one guy from Australia, and they found all that paraphernalia. And the guy's going to get life imprisonment. But the horrible thing on this too is that it was the parents, the mother of these. They're basically babies, 3 years old, 5 years old. The guy was telling him to tell the mother, "I'll give you so much," and the mother got so used to getting money that she continued to exploit her own child. Please, sir, I need the money. And the guy would say, "Okay, this time, have her take her clothes off, or do this or do that." And the fucking mother of this little kid, because of money. I mean, look, money is not everything, for God's sakes, to exploit your own children in that way. That is disgusting. So I guess the mother in this will be indicted, or has been indicted, and it's an Australian guy. It seems that, I don't know if it was neck and neck, but they said the two biggest countries was Australia and America for this kind of shit. Ain't that something? Because there are a lot of Australians that have interest in the Philippines, okay? I don't know where this sickness comes from. I really don't know. Is it inert? Has it been in these people a long time and just they're waiting for an opportunity to exploit some child in that way? These people, are sick. And yes, it is true. I have an ex-son-in-law, and that is the truth, that got involved with this, and he got some prison time, and he deserved it. You can't tell with people. Now, me, I've always thought the guy was a creep. I never had a good feeling about this guy at all. 1 in 100 has at the stats. And I had no idea. I knew this guy was emotionally void or something. And I used to tell my daughter all the time, this guy's not right for you. He doesn't even have a sense of humor. Who doesn't even have a sense of humor, But this guy deserved it. And my daughter had no idea what the hell was going on. She had no fucking clue. It's just the way a lot of these major trolls on here, when they're dishing out all this crap on here and calling people names and, hey, you committed crimes, and they're committing crimes themselves by what they say on here. How many times you hear people talk about, I'm going to rape children on here, like Aloe and people like that? He said that. He's going to fuck them up the ass. This is real shit. It's not entertainment. Anybody who can make that statement, I don't care if you're hiding, you have anonymity, you're hiding behind the camera and your identity and nobody knows who you are. Just to make those statements is sick. There's some reality going on here with this shit. There is. For example, Dick Insider, and I told you, and this is the truth, he used his own two boys when they were younger to dress up as girls, makeup and everything, so he could take pictures of them. And then the sperm nip situation. These people are sick. You remember when Dick Insider bought the pocket pussy? Dennis was really sick, and he would cut out like a centerfold or something, or make a picture of a naked boy and put the pocket pussy on it, like he's going to be fucking that naked boy. This is the people on here that you support. Oh, great shows, great animation you did, great little sketch you did there. These are the people that some of you support on here. It shows you how many sick bastards are really on here, man. Okay, Jeff Ferrero says, how many expat males are in the fills? I bet the stat is higher than the average. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Philippines has become the hub for this. I think they're one of the most major hubs going for child trafficking and things like that. And what's really happening is they're using. Thank you for the thumbs up, people. They're using the vulnerability and impoverishment of the Filipinos to take advantage of them. The Philippines is the capital of Southeast Asia. Cambodia is number 2. And they're taking advantage of impoverished Filipino mothers who have children. They're taking advantage of young Filipinas that want to make money for their family, or uh, you know, and they wind up with these creeps because of the promises they make that, yeah, if you let me screw you, or well, just to get in their pants, they'll make promises that they're going to buy him a house, they're going to buy him this. Look at Big Head. You remember Big Head? He used to do that with all the Filipinas, like it's a big fucking joke. I just feel it, man. I just know that there is a karma. I know there is. I've seen it in action. These people are going to get theirs. It really does disgust the hell out of me what these people do. And when somebody makes an implication towards somebody who's innocent, that's just as worse. That's just as bad. And I've been a victim of that, okay, in regards to those sickening activities. Yeah, yeah. It's just, I mean, there's no punishment good enough for these people. Now, our own very well Barry Lee Jordan. Now, I'm not going to incriminate myself by saying a certain statement, but you remember when Gogo Bobo came out with information and backed it up, and what he said about that, okay? And even Jay was backing that up, saying that Barry would embarrass him all the time because he's, going after these young girls and feeling their crotches and everything else. Barry that is a real criminal. And I'm so fucking proud of myself. I'm so fucking proud of myself that I achieved what I needed to do to get him in jail. I am so proud of myself for that. I couldn't wait for that day to happen. If anybody deserved to be in jail, this guy did. And for so many reasons. He's done so much wrong to so many people. So many people. And he's where he belongs. Let's just hope it goes in that direction continually. He winds up in Bikutan for a lot of years because he's still going to have to, once he's formally served. By the way, there's a real arrest warrant out on him. It's been approved. It's done, signed, and it's going to come from Wild Wild. That's where it's coming from. And I don't know if they did it already. They might have. They will personally serve him in that jail cell. Okay. And that's when the process starts. And that's when eventually they'll be able to come up with a court date. And, they keep on mentioning, the only thing I'm guilty of is my immigration. No, you're not. You're guilty of 5 counts of cybercrime that I put a file against you, mofo. And you're going down on those 5 counts too, which is 48,000 pesos per count as far as a bail is concerned. Lawyers, every damn thing else. Court sessions, litigation. I mean, he's paying the price for what he did. Big time. And, Licky doesn't, he's not seeing things clearly. He's so cocky, like Barry is and was, that he's doing these things on the show and he's incriminating himself constantly. This is exactly what Barry did. He's following the same path as Barry Jordan, the same path. Everybody's got his recordings on camera, big difference. And he's doing these things on camera like Barry Jordan did. And that's what helped me get the immigration interested in going after him in the first place. It would have never have happened in a long time. It would not have. I guarantee it would not have happened for many more years. Okay, it took the video evidence to present to them along with my lawyer. You got to understand something. People are confused about something. There wasn't just initially, to put a 5-count cybercrime case against Barry. We filed 2 cases. 2 cases. One was for cybercrime, and one was for his immigration status. There were 2 cases filed with my attorney from me. 2, not 1. It wasn't just a cybercrime, okay? This was put in by my lawyer as a second case for the immigration situation. That's why Barry got busted. Because there was an actual filing. So this is what it takes. I'm telling you, man. You can't just get anybody out on immigration status or being an undesirable unless you really have the evidence and you got a lawyer that actually puts a case on somebody. It generally doesn't work very well without a lawyer's assistance. It just doesn't. It doesn't. It takes a lot to try to indict somebody on some charges or something on it because you just don't happen to like them on YouTube. It doesn't work that way. I've proven it. There were 2 legal entities, cybercrime and immigration at my lawyer's office, get it straight, there wasn't one, there was two. And Ricky keeps on saying that the cybercrime case has been thrown out. No, it was the first attempt that was thrown out, and you will know why, because my lawyer's assistant did not include the video evidence with the affidavit. That's all. There was a new case right after that he continued with, and this time with the evidence that was needed. And yes, the prosecutor finally came to a conclusion. It's called a resolution, and they passed the resolution, and now it's been passed on. Okay, so it was approved for 5 cybercrime counts against Barry Lee Jordan. It's official. It's real. It's not made up. It's real. Now, whether he has to be rearrested. Even if he is in jail, he has to go through a formal process if it didn't happen already. If not, it'll happen real soon. Because it's where initially this stuff was filed in Marlboro. The PNP over there are the ones that will serve him or have already. They will serve him. Now, it could be that Ricky's playing stupid or he really doesn't know. Well, he really thinks that something was thrown out. Okay, he thinks in his mind that Barry's not getting served anything for those 5 cyber counts. And if they haven't served him yet, I mean, the arrest warrant was already written out. Of course, I got word of this. Of course, I know that. And I've even showed it on camera. It's real. They were just waiting for the PNP to serve him personally at the jail cell over in Mandawi. That's what's going on with that, if they haven't already. Because, the news happens slow that I get. The information I get with my case, everything happens very slowly. I find out well after something has happened. The information system, it's just very slow out here. When action is taken, I may not know about it for a month afterwards. But yes, he will be served if he hasn't already this past week. He will be served in his jail cell. Can't run away from that. Then see what Licky has to say about that. So Licky's been spreading the word that there's no case against Barry, that the only thing he's got against him is immigration. I'm just straightening it out with any newbies out there that know there is indeed 5 counts of cybercrime against Barry Lee Jordan. Okay, and the only reason that he's in the jail cell is because my attorney had filed charges against him for immigration, violation of immigration status of almost 7 years. 2 separate. What do you think I paid my lawyer so much money for? What do you think I paid him so much money for? It wasn't for one job. It was for 2 jobs. It was for cybercrime and it was for the immigration. 2 mints in 1. It was 2. I assure you. So yeah, now we have the big event on here. Of course, Jasper is involved in this too. I think people are going after Jasper in a big way. He needs to go. We know that. He definitely needs to go. This guy needs to be taken care of. That's for damn sure. But the big battle, the newest headlines on here is ETP versus the sick Licky, sick cookie. And it's going to be interesting because it is a battle. And ETP is not giving up on him. No, not at all. They're still there. He thought he took their channel. Ricky thought they took their channel down. They might have given him a copyright. Doesn't prevent them from coming on again. You've seen that happen before. No big deal. They'll just reemerge again. Phoenix rising from the ashes. If they got their channel taken off, that's ETP. But they got Ricky exactly where they wanted to get him. I guess I used to use that technique myself, I'd let Barry just go on and let him ramble on camera and let him say and call me a pedophile, call me whatever he did, threaten my life and blah, blah, blah. I allowed him to do that. Because that's the evidence I needed. And he fell right into my trap is what he did. And it worked out real well eventually. Same thing that's happening with Licky. He's giving people the evidence they need. He's being racist, using the N-word, talking about African Americans and calling them, the N-words. Everything he's done racial stuff on here. He's done threatening stuff on here. He's abusing, obviously, Filipinos. He's exploiting them. He's got all the elements of going to jail or getting thrown out of the country. He's got all the elements, just like Barry did. This is very similar to the Barry Lee Jordan situation. How about a little more thumbs up, guys? It's very similar to the Barry Jordan situation. So it's kind of one of these. I guess you call it one of these wait and see situations going on here. But I'm gonna be sitting back and watching the battle basically between the two. I get enjoyment out of that. Instead of me being a victim all the time, it's nice to see somebody else under the heat, but actually somebody that actually deserves it. More thumbs up if you can, folks. Come on. So let's just play it out. When you get that cocky, you see, here's the thing. You can say the secret of their success. Well, the secret of their unsuccess, these trolls like Ricky, is that when he rambles on the way he does like that, he's exposing a part of himself, a sick part of himself, a criminal part of himself. It all comes out in the wash, like I always say. The very people, the criminals that put this shit out, are actually the ones that incriminate their own selves. And that's the beauty of this. And that's how it happened with Barry. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. Well, entertainment is one thing, but it's what you do to entertain people. You got to understand something. You can't do criminal things to entertain people. You wind up like Barry, okay? You just can't say anything about anybody on here on a consistent basis. Threaten people's lives, stalk people, or whatever you do. Call them a pedophile, child molester, child groomer. Nah, generally people who do that don't get away with that because that's some pretty serious allegations. Okay, that's why Barry's got fucking 5 cyber counts against him. It wasn't because he's such a good-looking guy. He committed crimes and the prosecutor's office seen it as such and approved it. Now, there's 5 counts against him, which doesn't help him with his immigration situation as far as him hoping to get out of the country. And I just don't see that happening. Do the math, as I tell you all the time. Do the math. I just don't see that happening. Okay? All right, for a second here, folks. I'm going to put this thing down. Yeah, my back's been a bitch to me lately. My lower back is acting up here, so I'm dealing with that. Okay, hold on a second, folks. Here. I continue on with the dialogue. I'll be back in a few minutes here. And this is getting, I must say, that this is really getting very interesting on here. Entertainment for its own purposes, you got to define, though, people. When you say, well, I enjoy somebody's show when they're doing all this crap and you want to label it as entertainment, it's not entertainment in the value that you'd like to put on it, though. I mean, it's nothing more than committing crimes. You just can't label people certain things that are not true. I told you, man, I'm dealing with a guy from Facebook too, and we've actually went to trial with this already, and we have continuing sessions coming up. And he posted something on me on Facebook, a guy I never met that lived in my town here. And, his ass is in big trouble and you can't get away from that. Sometimes that you got to put boots to the ground and you have to just say enough is enough. And you got to take action, or you're just allowing them to do this to other people. And if they figure they could get away with something, they just continue to do this kind of shit. You ruin people's reputations. There's a lot of shit you can do. Oh, okay. Did you hear in one of Ricky's live streams where Apple said she would leave him if Ricky threw her again? Yes, I actually did hear that. Whether I buy that or not, I don't really know. Basically said that Ricky physically abused. Oh, said she would leave him if he threw her. Did he throw her? I thought what she really meant was that if he left her again, because he was like this, on and off thing, Apple, and then he wasn't seeing her for a long time, and then back again. I thought that's what it was, but I would not be surprised. Yes, he does get physical. I mean, you get him pissed off enough, he'll get physical with you like he did but he'll find easy targets like innocent women and helpless people like Michael Fazio. Really? Okay. By the way, folks, just a reminder, we are monetized. I'll be right back. Give me a couple of minutes if you don't mind. Because Ricky said right away, no one's going to do that again. Yes, Ricky does not like rejection, and he doesn't, he wants to be in control of those that are weaker than him. I see how this kind of pans out. I'm seeing the picture now. of taking advantage of people that can't defend themselves, like innocent women. You know, he gets them in a position of fear. Same shit as Barry, man. The similarities, it's uncanny. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Very similar in many ways with Barry Jordan. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back here. Yeah, I have my own rituals in the morning when I got to make my tea. One of the first things I do, actually. Ricky said right away that no one is going to do that again. That's when he goes into these rages. You know, like the political campaigns he goes to make a fool out of himself all the time. And he gets really manic, man. This guy goes from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. He needs a trigger point. There's something. He gets triggered by something. What happens is he gets triggered by something. That's what gets him into trouble. Okay. Now I don't know his police record. I really didn't bother to check into that in the United States. I would imagine that he has some infraction somewhere. I'm reasonably sure of that. But you see how he was triggered. How he was triggered with Fazio and what he did. Now, if this guy really was as intelligent as he tries to make people believe that Mr. Know-It-All, Mr. Intelligence, but he's really not, because it was all premeditated what he did with Fazio. He took the hotel right next door, all premeditated. But the stupid mistake that he made was that Fazio was doing a live stream at the time. Did he not contemplate that? I mean, he must have been monitoring from next door, right at the Stanley house, monitoring. And then he chooses to come down while he's doing a live broadcast. Talk about a dumbass. That's a dumbass. And gets himself on camera committing the fucking crime. You know what that tells me? It tells me that Ricky is out of control. That he's totally out. He has a trigger point in him where he gets triggered. Now, Ricky likes to come on and knock me all the time. There's really, because I've exposed Ricky myself a lot, you know, and he doesn't like when somebody, well, nobody does. You tell them the truth about themselves. What they speak is only coming from their mouth. But these are the guys, it's historically correct. I mean, it has happened so many times where people just get too goddamn cocky. And they're the ones that put themselves in these legal situations. And Ricky had to spend, because he bailed himself out, he had to spend 4 days in that. So he got his taste. Now he's facing with Fazio more on a monetary part of the case where Fazio wants to collect for a bullshit, you know, his ear being deaf because of him. But, you know, he could use it. But I think the only thing that Fazio has in his favor is that he was indeed attacked. And, you know, on some legal statutes might say, well, not really legal statutes, but it's like, who's to say you don't have pain? Say that you have a case that you want to sue somebody because they did an injury to you and you're claiming pain. You can't disprove that somebody has, for example, if it was a situation of pain, you can't really disprove that somebody's lying and says, I don't have pain from something that you can't prove you don't have pain, but you're going to have documents that prove somehow that there was damage caused. Now, in Fazio's situation, the little slapping that Ricky did is not going to make someone deaf. Let me I'm deaf and practically deaf in one of them. It didn't come from a slap in the ear. It came from an infection. There has to be a source for this. And, you know, a gunshot, you know, the concussion from a gun being fired relatively close to somebody's ear can definitely cause some damage. A lot of the time, but I think, in all honesty, just a couple of slaps that Fazio got from Ricky, it's not. That's total bullshit, to collect some money. But we'll see what happens with this. A lot of the things that Ricky does is really very clear. The fact that he moved into a place that was pretty cheap, $240 a month, instead of spending money trying to impress people with the 5-star hotels and that lifestyle. Why? Because he's in preparation for what's going to happen in this case that Fazio has against him for remuneration. And he's very, believe me, Ricky is very concerned about that because he does not want to take money out of it. Yeah, he has a violent streak. I mean, it just, but on very vulnerable people like innocent Filipinos that can't defend themselves, like somebody that's old and ill health, like that's a creep who. And I'm all for the authorities going after all these creeps out there. They're coming from the United States and they're coming from mostly it's United States and Australia. I told you I just watched something. I just watched a video about this and how they go after the. Okay, Mazda says, I wonder why Ricky even returned to the Philippines, knowing Fazio has an open and shut case again. Well, and that's why he's not been going to Thailand because he's got a case. I don't think, I don't think that he's allowed to leave the country. Is what I'm thinking. When you got a legal case against you, I think there could be a whole departure order on his passport. That's what I'm not sure how you see. That that could be quite a possibility. Not everything that comes out of everybody's mouth is truthful. Ricky's trying to. He's not doing a very good job doing that. It's people like him, people like Jasper, are the type of people that, and the other guy with the World Zoom that we've been talking about, and everybody, and the crimes that they commit that need to be recognized. These are the real criminals, and they need to be according to what crimes they're right. If you report these people, it's for a good. You don't want them to do it again. Sometimes people have to, but it just never worked with Barry. He just kept on being cocky in the same direction that Ricky's going. Very similar between Barry and Ricky. What's going on? Barry abuses Filipinas. Ricky abuses, and when they're, especially when they're on camera committing, and the key word, Mazda says, I thought Ricky had left the PI, returned to Thailand, and then came back. Maybe because he had to, but there's another reason too. You got to understand that he wore out his welcome in Thailand too. He made a lot of. I understand that somebody that's Ricky's about 60 almost now, and he says he's 59, but he's probably a man who puts himself out there on camera. I mean, you might as well put some handcuffs on yourself and get it over with. I mean, because this is the kind of fake recordings, AI, and all this shit, putting words in somebody's mouth to make him look guilty, and they tried to pull that shit on me. It would never work in a court of law, ever. But this stuff with Ricky is on camera, is his own words, as the words of Barry Lee Jordan were. And of course, again, look where. And I feel strongly that Ricky is following this same pattern. It all catches up. But he's being so cocky because that's the way he is. He knows he committed crimes. He knows he's doing wrong. But he's one of these guys that he has to save face. He's trying to save face because nobody is, in his mind, the way he thinks is that nobody's going to get the best of me. I'm not going to let that happen. Well, Barry thought, isn't this amazing? Even just to listen to this stuff, it's amazing that people really exist like this. They come into our, and they get a little bit too cocky for they put the nails on their own coffin. And I used to joke around, Warren Barry, I wasn't joking around. I said, man, I can't believe you just said that on your show. And you continue to say that again and again. I said, Barry, don't you're putting your own nails on your own fucking. I say it time after time. And the other expression, I can't see how you're shooting yourself in the foot every time you open your mouth and come on camera and say and do the things that you do. And he just continued along that path, and he continued. Where did Mazda says it's a misplaced sense of ego for sure. Absolutely. How about more thumbs up here? Okay. So yeah, this is getting interesting, and I'm watching this, but I'm a participant because I can tell you that I've hinted it. Might as well tell you I have reported him to Department of Justice Bureau and so forth, and I don't just lay back and do nothing. Ricky's done a lot of wrong to me, and I wasn't going to sit back just like he did with Barry. Other people have to do it too, and if you get enough people, but it's not like what they call safety in numbers. It's not to get the. It's the kind of ammunition that you could have an army fighting another, but who is going to win the battle or win the war is the ones that have the problem. So translate that into Ricky. If you have, you could get the attention of these authorities based on actual evidence, not third party, not hearsay, not just writing an agency because you just don't happen to like somebody and you come up with some edited fucking video, third party, whatever, is not going to do the job. And this is I know that for sure, okay, if anybody knows. But when you do get armed with the right gear, such as videos on camera, and they talk about a lot about the no face, no case stuff in the Philippines. Well, actually, that does apply. It does. They can go really, and they're not going to be using any voice recognition software out here, I assure you that, because that is not going to qualify in a court of law. It would be thrown out. Mazda has a question for me. Does the government even consider notifications from someone outside of the Philippines? No, they really don't. Added a jurisdiction? No, I would have to answer that with a definite no. I don't believe so. I mean, you evidence, you don't have to say, unless you have to go to court and say, well, you're in an added jurisdiction, you're from America, you can't do that. But you could submit evidence to these agencies. They will just look at it as such, as evidence. And if enough people turn in real evidence, then yes, you could put fire under their heels and get the government to do their job and all that stuff. No, I think no, it does. I mean, the more the merrier. As I said, more ammunition. If it's factual, as long as what you're going to send them is factual. Now, of course, maybe it'll just get their attention. Maybe because you're out of the country, uh, you're not going to be able to go into a courtroom and testify against Ricky. But you could still present these facts that they will take to kind of paint the picture of what's out, and they could use that as reference material. You know, from another country to come here and say, "Hey, I don't like this guy," and here's the evidence, and everything else, and be able to testify. You're not going to be able to do that. The presentation of evidence to the governing agencies, that are involved, where they will consider everything and say that, okay, now we know to take interest in this guy, okay, whether or not they could use your material or not. Remember, everything is by a signed affidavit, okay, signed affidavit. And even if somebody comes up with an affidavit against somebody, it doesn't mean it's going to be used. It can be thrown out. In Barry's case, okay, we got, but no, you could contribute to that. It'll get their attention to want to do something. So I'm answering your question. Yeah, you could certainly do that, but you won't be able to go to court for it, even if you wanted to. But it'll get their attention. That's the key words. getting there. Because if everybody started sending in something, it'll get there. No matter what, it's going to come down to actual evidence. Anybody could say, "Hey, this motherfucker, I don't like him." Let me see what I could do to get. You could hate the motherfucker on YouTube. I don't care who the person is on YouTube. You could hate their, but unless you present act, then you're not provable evidence, not evidence based on the fact that you got a gripe with the other person. Show, because that's what they want to see. They want to see from start to finish the video. They want to see the person's name on there, that it's coming, dated, and whatever date was on camera. That's how you do it. So when a lot of people think that it's fruitless to try to make any efforts for these people, it's okay. It's perseverance. It's keep on doing it until you get the results that you want. Look, we know things work slow in the Philippines, but in life in general, you can't always get things to happen when you want it to happen, and you want to expedite something because you're so wound up with the person you're dealing with that you hate their fucking guts, and you're very familiar with the crimes they're committing. I understand how you feel, but if anybody knows, I do more than anybody on here. More, I know, but you got to go step by step, and it takes time to get it done. But once you get the thing rolling in motion, you try to build up a momentum, okay, and go with this momentum and keep it up, and keep on contacting the very with a reminder or further evidence, and they want to see basically a notarized statement. Basically, they're going to tell you that to handle this over to the property, you're going to have a what do you know, a referral that I've gotten from police reports, where it's kind of like, I forgot what it's called. It's kind of like a recommendation. Oh, it's called an endorsement. Okay, an endorsement. You get an agency to endorse a report, like you put a police report on somebody, and you get it endorsed by the police department, which allows you to take this to the various agencies, say that's okay. We already got this guy on the blotter. Uh, we've endorsed this, and now this is available to the various agencies out there that you want to look into this matter because you got the endorsement. And that's how I do things. I get endorsements, and that's what starts things off. Okay, so hopefully you guys have gotten this pretty clearly on here. Not one fucking people come to my channel, but they're willing to donate to some demented. When I'm going after these criminals and I had one significant person who helped out was toward my lawyer fees, and that was of all people John Blaze. I'll say this on every. I'm still amazed. You're willing to get money to creeps like Popeye, of all people, one of the on the list of the biggest. I find this really fascinating, actually. How people's. I mean, who the fuck got Barry in jail? I did. Had all these people making. Mike Ross 50K, Pennsylvania Trucker 50K, even Don C 50K, WTF 50K. If I got back, it'll carry some weight. Don't worry about it, Mars. It'll carry some weight. But all the fucking work I did for you, can't even donate a fucking super chat to my show for future reference for Barry's case. Look, I'm not broke. Like, I don't have the money to handle another case or put a case. That's Jesus fucking. It's I just I'm just thinking of doing a no comment show from now on because it doesn't really fucking matter. I can get my word out, still collect my AdSense, and be on with it. I'm not gonna get on here like a little bitch like Barry and Ricky and fucking beg my audience to send me money. I'm just reminding my audience because I've always told people how I feel. That's never stopped me. If you've been following me, but I like to point out, and I always do to my viewers, that this is petty shit. They're willing to open up their wallets for the very people that, when somebody's trying to do something to put these it's a phenom. I can't call it anything else but it is. It's a phenom on my channel here. I'm monetized, but nobody wants to donate to my channel for. It's amazing. It's just absolutely fucking amazing. Oh, I think I had a donation from Union Square for $25. Something that showed up on one of my comments somewhere. Okay, so we had somebody. Now somebody said that my button on here is not working. That they're able to donate to, the dollar sign, and if you want to make a super chat. Someone tried it. Another person tried, and they said it wasn't allowing them to make the donation come through. And as I said, I'm not sure what's happening with that. I am monetized, I will tell you that. But I don't care. I'll bring this up on every fucking show of mine. I have no shame. That's who I am. I will speak on my mind how I. You got creeps like Jasper making money left hand over right for being a fraud by looking down at committing his own. Ricky was setting crimes off the record, although he's not making much of any donations now. He was. And you support shit like this. But when I go to distance for you people, and how many times you were pressuring me to do something to Barry, do something to Barry, do something to Barry, and you never, most of you have not. Look, you're not obligated to give me one goddamn dime on here. But I want you to keep in consideration the fact that I did your is exactly what the fuck I did. I did your dirty work. And then you get fat ass creeps like fucking Big Kevin, Ricky, even in the past Barry, and people like that you freely donate when you know they're fucking committing crimes. And you enable these type of people to do it again. What the? Well, whatever, man. This is all I got. It's like, the way I tell. Either you want to donate or you don't want to donate. Well, just come right out and say, Frank, I don't want to donate to you. If you could afford to donate to these creeps, then why don't you donate to not just my channel, to any channel that deserves the donations, that are fighting creeps. It's not like I need your money so much it's going to be the difference of whether I'm going to have a meal tonight or not. I'm not anywhere ever going to be. It's just showing appreciation. And for the work I did, you got creeps like P.A. Trucker who made false promises. Don C., I'm going to say to people again. People that have all promised 50. Go figure, right? I mean, shit, I'm having I'm not starving here. Let me tell you something. I'm not starving. I'm going to be doing renovation on another room here. I'm not starving. Trust me on that. My income has increased almost trifold. I'm not starving. That's not the point I'm trying to make at all. What really disgusts me about you people who follow me, and you're more than happy to come on my channel and make all your comments. Hope you go after him, Frank. Do this, Frank. Do this, Frank. I keep on telling you, man, I'm not your fucking police captain. There's things you could do. But you have the nerve to come to my fucking channel. And I know you're afraid that you've been talking about. You don't want them to know that you made a donation to me because you're afraid that you're going to be attacked by them. Come on. Is that your character, really? Are you that much of that you're worried about what people are going to think about who you decide to donate your money to on their particular channel? You're afraid? It's not going to do nothing to you. Be happy that there is somebody doing your job out there. The people that come to my channel and they want to talk about the drama, what a bad guy Ricky is, what a bad guy Barry was, and this guy and Jasper and everybody else. You just want to be heard and put your 2 cents in on it, but you're not willing to give your 2 cents. That sickens me. Which I keep on saying, make a non-comment type of live stream. I see no point. I hear the same shit coming back to me all the time. Did you hear what this guy said? Did you hear what this guy said? What are you going to do now, Frank, about this person and that person? Why are you just putting it on? Damn, I did my job on here. I did more than my job on here. I'll be right. I did more. But it's not, I need a reason to continue. Now, I'm not hurting for money. I'm on the same platform that everybody else is on here. And I'll get up and accept donations for my channel, for my efforts and my time on doing the kind of dirty work that a lot of you cowards out there did. Come to Uncle Frank over here. He'll take care of business. Well, I did take it. Didn't cost money to help the cause and causes. What did you do? Just come on people's channels and make a comment? I don't know, man. You people kind of are a real big disappointment to me. We got 24 people watching, 14 thumbs up. You would think somebody in that 14 thumbs up is going to be generous to the channel because they're all afraid of letting people know that I don't. Come on, man. That's cowardice type of shit. But like I said, fortunate for me, unlike Barry and other people and Ricky, I don't have to survive that's being made or could be. I don't have to go there. It's just making a point. In fact, it's not even worth my time to even continue the show right now. And Ricky is now in the highlights. Is that a lot of? Let's see what happens from this. Continue to do whatever you're doing. At least, okay. I'm getting off. I haven't even had breakfast yet, so I got to concentrate on figuring out what I just sort of put a little morning and as to where I think this and Ricky's going to go down hard. I really think he is. Yeah, good show, but nobody shows their fucking good show, Frank. All my shows are good. That's why you come. Why don't we start slapping these other people in the face by donating to my show? They're not going to like it at all. They don't want to see me making money on my show. Then a lot of you guys give in to that shit. You're afraid, oh, I don't know. I don't want them to know because I comment on their channel sometimes. I don't want to be under the attack. Because if I donate any money to your show, Frank, I mean, they're going to jump on me. And I'm so scared. Come on, guys, you got to be better than that. So I appreciate you telling me to have a good show. But every now and then, it's nice to see the screen light up with some rainbow colors here. The worst channels in the world with the biggest criminals are making all the fucking money. What gets people to open up their wallet is amazing. You gotta, yeah, that picture in there. We'll have to cut up Barry's picture. For Barry's picture, cheap frame. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. It was 49 pesos or something, piece of shit. And we're gonna fit Barry's photo on there. It's gonna go on my bedroom wall. It's this picture of him. To me, that's like a degree. It's like I got a fucking piece of shit. Filipino and Filipina abusing bastard behind fucking bars where he belongs. The monkey. No, look, you don't have to compliment. You show your compliments in a different way, and I'll take you with a lot more respect. I don't want to hear what a great job you're doing. If you think of, give me the incentive to keep on making. It is my, yeah. Think about. Okay, I got to get off here. I got to figure out some kind of on here. Again, I am disappointed. I'll say this every. Did I? You have the nerve to and try to pat me on the back. Good. Just show me the green if you want to. Let's get the brass facts. That's just a fact. I'm not going to deviate. Show your appreciation. In other words, it's not a requirement to come on my show, but it's nice to see when somebody breaks down and says, "Yeah, man, I got to admit you did a good job with this guy." wish you success.